So you want to be a ruthless fighter in the UFC? Not just a decent one. Not someone who survives 3 rounds and walks away with a moral victory. Nah, you want to dominate. You want the kind of presence that makes people flinch when your name shows up on the fight card. Cold, calculated, violent. Let's talk about how to get there. First of all, drop the Mr. Nice Guy act at the cage door. Being respectful is cool, but ruthlessness isn't about trash talk. It's about mindset. You need to walk into that octagon like it's your house and your opponent just broke in. Confidence isn't enough. You need controlled aggression, the kind that looks calm on the outside but is ready to explode with precision. That starts long before the weigh-in. It starts with how you train. Forget what you saw in movies. Raw talent fades fast in the UFC. You need daily, gritty, no days off kind of discipline. Ruthless fighters don't just train when they feel like it. They build systems that make training non-negotiable. They eat like machines, sleep like snipers, and train like their next opponent already knows all their weaknesses, because chances are he does. You want to dominate? Then you better be willing to become boringly consistent. Anyone can throw a punch. But real fighters know it's not about throwing hands, it's about imposing will. The most ruthless UFC athletes don't just look for an opening, they create it. They pressure, they cut angles, they drown opponents with cardio and crush them mentally before the 3rd round even begins. If your opponent still believes he has a chance, you're not being ruthless enough. This means drilling the basics until your body performs them without a thought. Jab, cross, hook, takedown defense, elbows in the clinch, ground and pound from mount. If you're not a master of violence in all positions, you're just a guy who thinks fighting is about flashy moves and highlights. Newsflash, highlight reels don't win belts. Relentless execution does. Now let's talk about mindset, because this is where a lot of fighters trip up. You need to train your mind like a weapon just as much as your body. Ruthlessness comes from a mental edge, the ability to keep calm under pressure, to stare down pain and keep pushing, to make your opponent question every decision they make. Visualization isn't just fluff, it's your secret weapon. Picture yourself breaking your opponent mentally, watching their confidence crumble as you take control round after round. Also, get comfortable with discomfort. The octagon is a brutal place. You'll get hit, you'll get tired, you'll want to quit. But the ruthless fighters? They lean into the pain. They welcome exhaustion like an old friend. They push past their limits, and then some. That mental toughness comes from testing yourself every single day. When you train, don't just go through the motions. Go beyond what your body and brain say is possible. Technique is king, but strategy is the kingdom. Study your opponents like you're preparing for a chess match, because you are. Know their habits, their tells, their favorite setups. Adapt your game plan constantly. If your opponent wants to strike, bait them in and take them down. If they want to grapple, wear them down with strikes and force mistakes. The best fighters are fluid, unpredictable, and always 2 steps ahead. Never underestimate the power of conditioning. You can be the slickest fighter in the world, but if your gas tank runs dry by round 2, you're toast. Ruthless fighters treat cardio like a weapon. High-intensity interval training, running until your lungs burn, grappling till your muscles scream, all of it builds a stamina advantage that lets you outlast and outwork anyone in the cage. The last guy standing? Usually the one with the most insane cardio. Don't forget about the little things that add up. Weight cutting, recovery, nutrition. The difference between a good fighter and a ruthless one is often how well they manage their body outside of training. Cutting weight smart, eating for performance, getting quality sleep, and using recovery tools like ice baths and massages can keep you sharp and injury-free. Ruthlessness means being prepared in every detail. Another secret weapon? A killer support team. You need coaches who push you harder than you push yourself, teammates who bring the heat, and a corner that won't sugarcoat the truth. Having people around who hold you accountable and push you past your comfort zone will turn you from a hopeful fighter into a dominant one. You can't do this alone. Finally, embrace the grind. The road to ruthlessness isn't glamorous. It's waking up sore, dragging yourself to training, and doing it all over again day after day. It's sparring with partners bigger, faster, stronger than you, and still showing up the next day ready to go. It's sacrificing weekends, social life, and sometimes your sanity. But every drop of sweat is a step closer to being that ruthless force in the octagon that nobody wants to face. So, if you're serious about becoming a ruthless UFC fighter, remember this. It's not about being the loudest or flashiest. It's about being the hardest working, most mentally tough, strategically sharp, and physically relentless warrior in that cage. Own every moment from the moment you start training to the second you hear the bell ring, because that's what separates the fighters from the ruthless fighters.